All right. So as of 15th of Jan, I gave my step one, and I got the result about a week back. So I passed. So just putting this together to talk about everything I used, all the resources I used, what I did to prepare, mistakes I made, and then a plan for you based on what year you're in, as well as my stats. So, okay. So what resources did I use to prepare for step one? So first thing was Anki. Most important resource is Anki for step one, because it's not about short-term memory. It's a big exam. It's a lot of information. So you need to retain stuff in long-term memory in order to be able to answer on the exam. So yeah, I will upload my full deck on the Telegram group. So you can use those cards as you go through the resources. Okay, then second most important resource, pathoma. So the exam is about 60% pathology. So yeah, and pathoma is what, 250 pages, and it covers pretty much all of that. So definitely the highest yield resource is pathoma. It comes with a series of lectures as well as a book. So you just annotate the book while doing the lectures. And my cards already have the screenshots annotated. Okay, and then same thing with Sketchy. Sketchy, the corresponding resource is first aid. So you watch Sketchy for micro and farm, and annotate into your first aid. Yeah, and then you put these into Anki to revise them. So that covers your pathology, micro and farm, which I would say would cover about 75% of the exam. And this makes it, these three are really condensed resources, so it won't take you too long to get through them, and they're really high yield. Now the fourth thing is boards and beyond, BNB. That's mainly to cover your physiology. So even if you like studied well in first year, you could kind of skip this, but yeah, BMB for physiology, just to get down the pathways and all, because a lot of the pathology questions will involve some physiology, so it helps to know the stuff. But yeah, don't try and do all of BNB, especially if you're later on in your MBBS, because it's too vast. If you start in first year, maybe you can get through all of it, but yeah, just focus on the physiology part. Okay, UWorld, that's the question bank. So I'm going to talk about that later. Now, NBME test, those are the exams that you give at the end, just to kind of check your prep, and it'll give you a percentage chance of passing. And last thing is Divine Intervention podcast. These are optional. Divine is he's a PG, he's a medicine resident in the US, and he has podcast talking about like all sorts of topics for step one. So if you are like if you retain stuff through audio, it's pretty good to listen to passively. Okay, so now what did I do for my step one prep? So first year, I did nothing specifically for step one. The only thing was I did know about Anki, so I used it for my unis. I've made a video about this, how I used it for unis. But yeah, you could do something like that just to familiarize yourself with Anki before you really get into your step one prep, which will start in second year mostly. Oh, sorry, but I mean, okay, I'll get to that later. Okay, second year. So second year, I finished Sketchy. I finished Sketchy, Micro, Farm, and Pathoma parallel to the blocks as they were covered in college. So when we were in our let's say CVS and RS block, I did Pathoma, CVS, and RS, as well as the drugs for CVS and RS from Sketchy Farm, as well as any bugs that affect those systems. So yeah, that's how I kind of covered it during my second year, and that also helped me a lot for unis, because you can kind of just write your short notes, from the information you learned for step one. So, and yeah, you add these cards to the main deck. And okay, so during second year, there's going to be a lot of information from Pathoma, Sketchy, Micro, and Farm. So I only studied that information during that block. Like if it was CVS block, I studied those cards for about a month, and then I stopped doing the cards because it just gets too much. So yeah, I'll get to how you get back into it. But yeah, during the block, you want to study those cards, and you can mature them a little bit. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so third year you want to do BNB for all the physio systems, because like we haven't talked about physio yet. So I did BNB for all the physio systems, as well as anything that's untouched, so these are things that you have to do from BNB, which are not covered by any of the other resources, which are biostats, biochem, psych, neuro, because neuro you don't need to do pathoma in second year, because we college doesn't test it. Okay, then behavioral, immunology, and genetics. So there are 7 things which you need to do BNB through and through. Yeah, and then UWorld, I did 20 questions every morning and added the questions to Anki. Like you can just screenshot the question, and the UWorld question ID is there. You search that up in Anki, and you can find relevant cards for that question. So that's really helpful. And okay, So wait, I should show that. One sec. I will show it actually. So like right here in this sidebar, you go and you can search like 139, let's say. Okay, and then you're gonna scroll down and you will find these tags. So there you go. So that's card number, question number 139 on UWorld. You'll see, so I have a screenshot here and the relevant flashcards just showed up. So you can add the question into your card and that'll help you retain your UWorld questions long term, because it's those specific concepts that they test. It's not even about like knowing the whole thing. It's like within, like that was an example of nitrates. Within nitrates, they'll ask you like the specific example that CGMP goes up. So by putting your questions there, you'll know what they actually test. So yeah, that's why I would recommend doing that. Okay. Now, yeah, so third year we covered UWorld. Okay. So okay, now in third year, as I was going through, I just kind of kept adding stuff from my second year deck into my main deck and revising it again, because you already did it for a month during second year, so you kind of remember most of the information. So you just add it back, do the cards, maybe read through the information once more, and you're good to go. Okay, and then the last thing I did was NBMEs. So I did 6 NBMEs plus free 120 in the month before my exam, and that seemed to work really well. So I did form 28 to 33. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so what were key mistakes I made? The two biggest mistakes I made were definitely over preparing for the exam, because I didn't use an NBME to assess where I was. So that's what I would kind of say you should do. When you're about halfway through your prep, just give an NBME just to figure out where you are. I know it's like each NBME costs $50, but it's kind of worth it because it's going to save you so much time by knowing where you actually stand. When I gave my first NBME, I was already at 80%, and so then I was like, okay, I just need to give the exam now. Like I'm kind of just wasting my time. So you need to, grade your preparation according to how your NBMEs play out. So give an NBME earlier on. Yeah, especially when you're about 50% through UWorld, you have to give an NBME. That's what I would recommend. Okay, and I was inconsistent with my UWorld. That's another mistake I made. So definitely, UWorld is your highest yield resource. Never slack on UWorld. Yeah, just get through your questions every day, because even if you do pretty much nothing else, just UWorld can help you pass the exam. Okay, so now this is the plan for whoever's watching. So based on what year you are, I'm going to talk about what I think you should do. So if you're a first year and you want to start a step on prep. Now this is important, to knowing that you want to do it, because this is going to be a long journey. So especially starting in first year, you really have to know, like if you're a US citizen or something, then this is for you. Otherwise, just hold off, wait till at least second year to start your prep. But yeah, if you want to start in first year, you go through BNB, physio, and biochem. That would be really amazing. If I had done this during my first year, I feel like even my knowledge during first year would have been much better, because you kind of understand things in a systematic way. So yeah, BNB for physio and biochem. Then you want to familiarize yourself. I can't say that word. Okay, familiarize yourself with Anki. You can kind of use it for your unis the way the way I used it. You can go back and watch that video. Okay, and then for ANAT, you have to do your BDC. That's for just college exams, but it won't do much for step one. But yeah, you have to do it. Sorry. Okay, second year. So now, if you're starting a prep in second year, you pretty much do things just the way I did. The only change I would tell you to make is just give an NBME earlier to figure out where you actually stand. Okay, so yeah, you do Pathoma and Sketchy during your second year. Then you will in boards and beyond in your third year. Give NBMEs, give the exam. So that's chill. Okay, that is, I think, a pretty ideal schedule. Okay, now for third year or any time after that, now you don't have as much time to go through the basic resources. You need to tailor your prep, because this video is basically about how to give the exam during your third year, right after your third year. Okay, so now you need to structure your prep around UWorld. UWorld is the most important thing, because even just knowing what types of questions they ask from each system is a huge help. You don't need to actually know everything about the system. So yeah, UWorld is first priority, and like I talked about before, you put your UWorld questions into Anki, and that'll help you remember those concepts also. Okay, so yeah, and so you do UWorld and then you finish the resources in this order, which is Pathoma, then Sketchy Farm, then Sketchy Micro, then BMB for what? Yeah, then you do BNB for physio topics that are weak on UWorld. Okay. Yeah, and then yeah, so covering all this in second year is difficult. So you want to use UWorld as your main resource and then fill in gaps with the other resources. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all. Then just going through some stats. So it took me 2 years and 15 days on the dot to prep for step one, which was definitely overkill. So this is my U word. 69% was my overall correct. This is my Anki. I had 30,000 cards, approx 29,000 cards by the end of my prep. These were my forms: 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33. So yeah, that should cover everything pretty much. So good luck.